Hi, and thank you for joining me. Today we are going to be working on spine mobility, something that is so important and often ignored as we sit a lot through our adult lives. Joseph Pilates said, one of my favorite things when I first studied him 25 years ago, you are only as young as your spine is flexible. So today we're just going to be doing some basic movements and exercises, nothing too stressful, to make sure that you have spine mobility. You can do this any time of the day that is appropriate, or even if it's inappropriate and you're in your office, maybe you just need to do it. So let's just get started. I always like to start by getting some oxygen and blood moving through my body. We're going to reach up, breathing in, just opening up the fingers and the toes. We're going to bring the heels down. We're going to bend the knees, and we're going to round through our spine. We're going to remember that our spine ends way up the base of our skull. So drop your skull all the way down. And just release here. Be soft through the spine, the armpits, soft in the knees. And then we're going to step our feet wider than our hips and do some nice flowing soft figure eights, just to get the spine moving in all directions. Let the shoulders hang out of their sockets, the head hang off the neck, and reverse your eights. And let's stop in the middle. Take a nice deep breath in, big flat back. Pull the belly button up to your spine. Think about pulling the tailbone and the head in opposite directions, really getting some length in the spine. Exhale, round through the spine. I like to think about making a rainbow from my head to my tailbone. Another big inhale, big flat back. And let's exhale, rotate one hand over the opposite ankle or leg, wherever you're at, it's fine. And come down, bend your knees, round through the spine again. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, rotate to the other side, really kind of rotating through the rib cage, reaching up to the ceiling. And coming down. And then let's come on down to the ground. We're going to do some very basic but very important and helpful spine mobility exercises here. We're going to be on our hands and knees. And if your knees hurt, make sure you're on a rug or a mat. So you're going to just, these are called cat camels or cow cats or curve and arches. A lot of people in a lot of different disciplines use these because they're so helpful and useful. Just for mobilizing the spine, use your breath and exhale. Remember, your spine ends way down here between your glutes and way up here at the base of your skull. So you really want to kind of make sure you're trying to move through all of it. One more. And exhale. And this next one is definitely a client favorite. It's called Wag the Tail. It's very simple. We're going to raise one foot up and we're going to look over the same shoulder. And we're going to look at that foot and then we're going to wag that foot to the other side and look over the other shoulder. So back and forth. We even videoed clients saying, oh my gosh, this feels so good. I should do this every day. And so hopefully they are, because it does feel nice. It gives you some lateral flexion through your spine. We're going to switch feet. Make sure you do it on both feet. Look at the same shoulder as the foot raised, and then the opposite shoulder as the foot raised. And I always like to encourage lots of nice breathing. So getting that pelvis and spine to move laterally is a nice break for the spine. And again, these are kind of basic exercises and stretches, not so much to strengthen all the muscles, but to mobilize the muscles. Now we're going to move down onto our mats. We're going to take a seated position, and you can sit however you feel most comfortable. You can cross your legs. You can have your feet together. You can have your feet out, which I only recommend if your hip flexors are not too tight. I find most people feel most comfortable just cross-legged, but whatever works for you, do it. Again, this is to get mobilization, not for strengthening. So we're going to try to sit up nice and tall. Keep the shoulders really far away from the ears. Take a nice deep breath in. Bring your one arm up, and let's come up and over. And I like to think about a shelf being right here in the waist. So you're not collapsing into that waist, but pulling the spine up and over. And again, watch the ears and the shoulders. Make sure they're not coming together. Pull back up to center. Inhale. Exhale, come over to the other side. And back up to center. And exhale, come to the other side. And again, inhale. Pull up through your center and come up and over, really kind of mobilizing, stretching out the whole waist and your lat muscles and your oblique muscles. And we're going to do our last one. Inhale and exhale over. Excellent. Now the next one, just very simple, basic. Let's bring our feet out in front of us. You're going to inhale, try to keep your knees straight, but if they need to bend a little bit, that's okay. And we're going to round over our legs. I know sometimes people like to fold forward with an arched chest, but right now we're going to round through the spine. And again, slide the arms up the legs, up to the ceiling. Big inhale and big exhale. And now we're going to come down onto our mats. If you can and you have the core strength, let's do a nice slow roll down. Again, pulling the ribs together, pulling the belly button back, trying to keep the chin and chest nice and open, and descending down one vertebrae at a time. You can raise your hands up, just stretch the body out, pull the toes and fingers in opposite directions. And let's bring the hands up to the ceiling. And if you can, roll on up, really closing through the ribs, trying to keep it an even momentum or even pace. And round forward. And one more time. And if you can't roll down, you can bend your knees. You can use your hands. Just try to feel each vertebrae descending one at a time. Next, we're going to do very simple but very rewarding shoulder bridge. There's lots of ways to do the shoulder bridge to work different muscles and activate different parts. So it's all about where your mind is at and where your focus is at. Since we're doing spine mobility today, we're going to focus on feet being in line with the hips, knees being in line with the hips. Chest and shoulders are really soft. I find it helpful to turn your palms to the ceiling so you don't push through your chest. And what we're going to focus on today is lifting that tailbone, really scooping under, pressing up through the spine. So there's ways you can do this that really work your glutes and really work your hamstrings, your abs. Our focus today is more on the mobility. I want you to really think about those vertebrae. Think they have lights on them. And you're slowly turning off each light in sequential order as you come on down. And again, raise on up. We're going to turn each light on the edges of our vertebrae on one at a time. Trying to separate. We really want to articulate through the spine here. That's our goal. It's not so much, not that your muscles aren't working, they are. But I want your focus to be kind of separating through those vertebrae. You should feel sometimes they're chunky, and this will make them feel like they're a lot more separate and mobile. So let's go again, really focusing on the movement of the vertebrae and coming down one at a time. Seeing if you can feel those nice, strong, ropey muscles along your spine. Really hitting down at the same on each side. And just for good measure, let's do one more. Lift up, really kind of articulating through the spine, not rushing through it, taking your time to have a healthy spine, and slowly articulate down one vertebrae at a time. And if you can, we're going to do a back roll. If not, we're going to you can do a roll up again. Again, you can walk up your legs. I'm going to do a back roll for my spine mobility. If you have serious neck problems or you're not ready for this, Feel free to skip it and just roll up and do another stretch, but we're going to try to pull back through those abdominals, really giving the spine a nice stretch here. And then we're going to slowly, with control, try to leave your arms out of this exercise. And again, feel that spine descending. I like to visualize it one vertebrae at a time. Best you can. I like bringing one leg down at a time so you don't arch. Bring your hands up to the ceiling. Slowly roll on up, keeping the chin off the chest. And big forward bend. One last exercise for our spine. You can feel free to repeat that. That I can't get enough of. That roll down and roll backs make my spine feel the best. They're my physical therapy. So we're going to sit up and we're going to do saws. We're going to open up the chest. Wherever you're at is fine in this. We're going to rotate the chest and we're going to come on down. So this is a very complex exercise. You have to have some flexibility in your hamstrings and your spine. So it's okay if you're here, bending the knees and reaching forward and coming up. Or if you have a great straddle, good for you, good work. And come on down, trying to keep the opposing hip on the mat. Come on up, rotate over, and come on down. And repeat. And exhale. And up. And nice exhale. And up. And you can shake your legs out. And one of my favorites is to bring your hands underneath your legs and pull yourself down towards your feet. Think about your feet and your glutes or your sits bones being far away from each other. And you can round and arch through using the strength of your arms in opposition with your back. And one more. And that is all for today. Just a few of fan favorites and my favorite spinal mobility movements and exercises. I hope you feel better than you did when you